question that always kind of comes across before we move to the AI bit, where I have some interesting questions to ask, is that a lot of people, when they consistently get failures, right, it essentially decreases their motivation to do that thing, because they're saying, and a lot of times that retrospective is about an external locus of identity, that how people are looking at me. Like if I have failed like for 6 odd months, I'm laid off for 6 odd months, so probably I'm not good. I'm not good enough to do anything in my life. How do you keep yourself kind of resilient in that point and keep telling yourself? Because it might come for somebody who has been in the industry for 10 odd years, and I'm sure udhar bhi nahi hota. But then again, I'm still saying it might be slightly easier because they have seen ups and downs. But maybe who's just venturing into a slightly ambiguous role like product, how do you keep yourself kind of motivated that it's not the outcome, it's the process that really matters, that how you do it well?
I mean, that's a great question. And I think it all comes down to what you said first, right? Internal locus of identity versus external locus of identity. And this also goes back to what I said about long-term versus short-term, right? So if you're driven by, the fancy titles, can I get the 30% hike? Can I get the, whatever, can I buy a car? Or will I be able to get married because of this job, this thing? Trust me, you will achieve a lot of mediocrity. Okay, you're again, I mean, it goes back to your desires, your goals, right? And there are no right or wrong answers here. If you're happy with a life, if you're content, I mean, all power to you. Because that's one of the hardest things to achieve in life. But if you're one of those people who's constantly discontent, right? And when I say discontent, I don't mean by the material things. Discontent with sort of status quo, sort of doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis, having the drive and desire and deep desire to sort of learn every day, get better every day, those kinds of things, right? You cannot but avoid failure. And to be honest, I mean, I've had very, very deep failures in life, which we can have a completely separate topic on. Some people come and anyway, that's a complete different discussion, and it is very hard. I mean, to be honest, it is not easy to maintain your psychological strength when you're having those failures. Okay, so there are two important aspects, I think. One is what Shravan said, right? Have this internal locus of standing, which is don't care. I mean, you can't completely not care, but have a strong sense of purpose and who you are, and what you want. I think that is one aspect. And to be honest, I think there are other habits which help me when I'm going through deep failures. There are certain habits I have adopted which have helped me. One is journaling. So I maintain and write a journal on a daily basis, which sort of keeps me rooted and brings me back to where I need to be. That's one aspect. I meditate about 20 minutes every day, which is super helpful again to get back to that sense of purpose. The third aspect, I'm into running. I run long distances. It just helps me shut off. And I think, again, going back to the last point, that internal versus external locus of standing, who's your personal board, right? So take inputs from the people that matter to you. The people that don't matter will come and say, haha, you're a failure. See, that guy is getting so much. Sharma ji ka beta, this, that, all that nonsense, right? So you need to surround yourself with the right people. If you surround yourself with the right people, you will be fine. Okay, so I think it's these aspects: the support system, certain habits, and a strong locus of standing that will help you. Internal locus of standing that will help you sort of go past those failures.
Awesome. I think one of the interesting questions I think most people in the group in some capacity ask me is that, and this is a question that I've seen across at various colleges also, where that with the advent of AI, right? And again, I keep telling them AI is something not new. It is just that data became cheap and there were a lot of models on which we could train that, and it became more and more relevant over time. But I still want to ask you is that for a product manager, right? There are two folds to this question. One is like a more common question, that does it really mean that this field is going to kind of die down over time? That's the first question which keep people asking me, because a lot of tasks are getting automated, a lot of compute is getting affected. And second thing is, how does a product manager effectively leverage AI to kind of become better at the craft that they essentially want to do?
Yeah.
I think these are the two initial questions that I really want to ask about. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So that's a great question, right? And so my answer to that is I think product management as a craft is not going to go away. So the way to think about it is the more ambiguity there is, the more uncertainty there is, the more the human brain becomes valuable because AI models are trained on historical lot of non-ambiguous data and they can learn from existing patterns. So if anything, I think a product manager will become more relevant and more important in the future, not less. Okay. So I think one of the aspects that's going to start happening is we will start having more what I call full stack product managers. Right? So for example, just the process of product management, right? If you want to iterate, design, prototype, all of the painful stuff where, for example, you need to leverage lots of other pairs of hands to do things, you can do on your own, get prototypes out, get feedback out, all of that you can start doing way faster than you are today. So that is one aspect. The second aspect, I think, is I'll just give you an example from a feature that we released like yesterday or day before yesterday, right? So what my company does is we get data from lots of different sources, and you can create what are called feeds on them. You can create a feed on any topic of your choice. So one of the features we released yesterday was the ability to create these feeds across on any topic, right? On product management, on user research, etc., using AI. So guess how many AI engineers I used for that? Any guesses? Like I'm operating on 100 terabytes of data, like lots of data streams coming in. Any guesses? 4 to 5. Okay.
More, Janta, you can just make a wild guess. Okay, somebody
10.
said 10. Okay.
Yeah.
1,
Okay.
2. Somebody said 0 also.
That's the right answer. Okay. So if I'd had to do this 1.5 years ago, to build that AI smarts, I'd have needed an army of ML engineers or AI engineers. I released it with 0 because I have a very good product manager who quickly learned how to do very smart prompt engineering and could work on my data infrastructure and release this cool feature. I mean, all the rest of the stuff took time, getting the UI right, getting a lot of other stuff right. But for the AI piece, I almost did it. So you can start embedding AI into your product way more smartly today with lots of these, even with prompt engineering, you can just get so much done and start embedding AI into your products, even for what looks like very complex stuff. So my point is, okay, 2 points. One, wherever there is ambiguity, PMs will always be relevant. 2, with the advent of AI, PMs can become more efficient and you can get your sort of product life cycles happening much faster because you can become a full stack PM. So you're definitely not going to go out of style or out of fashion. If anything, I'm going to go out of style. I mean, machine learning engineers or whatever like me, you're going to need fewer of me, right? So that's probably what is going to happen. But what you will need to do, I think, is sort of invest some time in. If you're building AI products, now there are 2 parts to it, right? So one is you can leverage AI to build products better. Second is what you need to do to sort of build AI products. And I think there is a lot of material out there. And if you are in the space of building AI products, you will need to invest some time in learning, right? I mean, like Andrew Ng's machine learning course, or there are a lot of good influencers today. Like there's a PM from Meta. I forget his name. Marily, Lenny Rachinsky, because the space is moving so fast. There are no textbooks for this, right? So you will need to follow some of these influencers, follow their newsletters to sort of figure out and stay on top of how to get these things done. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. So I think the first question is that out of the way, which was the bigger blocker question that they felt that their roles might not remain relevant over time.